Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 9. Episode 9. We officially have as many episodes as a cat has lives. There you go. That's the thing there are 9 of. I was going to make like a Star Wars analogy, but we're not there yet. We beat Star Wars.
Yep.
But they're getting there. How's everybody doing? Are you ready for criming today?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ready.
Yeah, I'm so ready to do the crimes.
That's good. I saw Sean before we crime. Speaking of anti-crime, I saw that Eric started a campaign using your blade stuff.
Yeah, I was super excited. I saw Cloak and Gavel, and I was like, cool, he's running blades. And somehow I just missed that you say using vigilantes. And then I went back and I went, what? Right? And yeah, that's so cool. So awesome. I'm very excited.
Yeah, and super cool to see that stuff starting to percolate out into the world. I was very excited to see it.
Yeah.
Eric's, if you haven't seen it, Eric's little title card reminded me a lot of Law and Order for some reason, because the same sort of pointy font and the blue and red, and I was like, all right, I feel that.
Yep.
Totally on purpose, I think.
Yeah. He started their very first score, like you're on a Leviathan steamship posing as a buyer to try and get something that some cult wants, and you're trying to intercept it before they get a hold of it. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. On a scale of 1 to Corvo Atano, John, how excited are you about Dishonored 2?
I'm going to raise you an Emily Caldwin.
Hells yeah.
That's how excited I am.
Because they announced a bunch of the voice actors and stuff a little while ago, right?
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
I'm psyched.
Who?
Rosario Dawson.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, aka the best part of both Daredevil and Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's not to say either of those shows aren't good. It's just Rosario Dawson's fucking awesome.
He's that much better. And they're doing a Punisher show, they announced.
Sweet.
So,
That's right.
Yeah.
I read an interview a little while ago with the guy that plays the Punisher, where he was saying that a lot of army vets identify with his character, and on the one hand that's awesome, but on the other hand, oh my god, no, please.
yeah. It's sad and true.
And a little scary. But it is cool that he's getting his own show. So that's, speaking of vigilantes, that's pretty cool. But we don't care about crime fighting. We care about crime committing.
Crime doing.
We are crime doers, not crime stoppers.
Yeah.
So
those vigilantes, they're just quitters. They just quit
right.
at crime.
Bunch of babies.
The worst.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, if we're in the middle of a score and suddenly Batman shows up, we're probably screwed, but still.
Yeah.
Well, that's my premise. That's my initial situation, is basically take down the Six Towers gang. Now the bloodletters, because they're awful.
Right. I mean, we are kind of the worst. Actually, we're trying to be the worst. We have aspirations to worstness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you want
We're
to
wannabes.
Yeah.
maybe not Batman, but Omar, yeah.
Yeah. We made a specific background for the Omar gang. I'm very happy about it.
I mean, honestly, if I had to pick one of those two people to come up against, Omar or Batman, I would choose Batman every time. Much less horrifying.
Right.
Batman will not just straight up shoot you in the face, depending on which. Ben Affleck might, but other Batmen probably would not.
Yeah. Ben definitely will.
Yeah, it's funny because, Sean, the Vigilantes thing, I think that I saw, obviously I saw when we'd be talking about it, I saw your updates on Google+, and I was like, yeah, Vigilantes, that's a cool thing, and obviously it fits. And then I was like, wait a second, that would be really fun. At some point, the premise just, clicked for me. It wasn't like it wasn't fun before, but I was just like, okay, yeah, you these crime guys, and then people who fight them, and then I was like, oh, but wait. That sounds like fun. So, if you wanna see it in action, check out Eric Vulgaris. Check out his channel. He's got his VODs over there. You can check it out. It looks really cool.
Yeah. And I think you can. I watched the first one after it was played, so I think he has them available.
Yeah, he's got them on his YouTube channel too. So yeah, if somebody in chat has a link, feel free to paste it. But we'll leave those mamby-pambies to their crime fighting. We have some things to... Actually, can we just talk about Roth Kinklaith for the rest of the episode?
Yeah, do we want to just play the Roth Kinklaith game now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to be the guy that helps Roth Kinklaith put on his gloves.
Yeah, totally. Can we fight over who gets to be his Alfred? Because, damn.
I think he's gone through 4 or 5 by now, probably.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. He has to have. They're ablative. He has multiples.
Yeah, not a lot of patience. Good old Roth.
Oh man, I'm so sad.
My new Dark Souls character is Roth with his silver hair, braided ponytail, and the class I started with, the assassin, he has the highest dex because I knew I wanted to build for Roth to be a sword fencer. But I forgot that they start with the S stock, which if you're a Dark Souls player, especially a PvPer, you know when I say that word is synonymous with asshole.
Yeah, S stock is best stock.
It's so funny that he started with that weapon, like the most annoying PvP weapon there is. This guy just gets it as a birthright, you know.
There you go.
So perfect.
Roth is all about that PvP. Yeah, I feel it. So where were we? Because as usual, I have no memory of this place. Remind me where we're at, everybody.
I recall vividly, but I tend to do a lot of these recaps. So
well, we have one thing to do perhaps before we jump in to the cliffhanger. We have a crew upgrade that needs to happen.
Sure.
So maybe we can do that and then roll camera after that.
Yeah. So Strush, you want to go with mastery, and you have mathematical reasons why?
Yeah, there's so I was looking at sort of what we did to prep for this particular set of missions. So right now we're about to enter a war, and if we do well enough, we're going to just exit it right out because Cantor and you are just going to murderize people. And we're prepared in this case because we got exceptional thugs, we got like the duelists and whatnot. So we dumped a shit ton of money into actually getting the edge on them. So dumping 2 points into quality doesn't seem like it's going to benefit us almost at all. It's all going to be up to your rolls and whatnot. So I'm looking more long term, like what sort of stuff can actually help all of us in sort of the run. And my suggestion is mastery because 4 dots is awesome, and I'm ready to be a crazy ass demon summoner. But you know,
let's talk about what these things do, right? So like, what would mastery give us mechanically? What do we get for that?
It enables us to buy the 4th dot in a skill. So you could become better at skirmishing. RC could become better at man.
I'm still personally like, I think I don't have anything better than a 2 right now. Let me see. Maybe I have a 3 in something. Because, you know. Yeah, I've got 1s and 2s, so I'm a ways off from being able to bank on that being useful.
Right.
Oscar,
but both RC and Oscar could make use of it.
Yes, but you're forgetting that Cantor doesn't care about that. No, I'm just kidding. I do
No,
as
actually,
a person.
it's fair. We should all get some sort of benefit out of this in one way
I was
or another.
thinking of it less from like I want to get a benefit and more like what's the thing we can maximize the amount of benefit from before we go into this next thing.
Right.
Another option that I would suggest is Breakers. If we took a veteran advance on our guild, Breakers have a power called Blood Brothers, which gives you +1 to all of your +1 to your engagement roll if you bring your gang along, and also all of your gangs get the thugs type for free. And if they already have thugs, they become a something else as well.
Yeah.
So that would enable us to sort of diversify and get bonus dice and have an awesome gang that now is like bonded together. You know,
I do like the idea of thugs by default. That's nice.
Right. If you work for us,
It's our second album, Thugs by Default, and it's like D-fault. Yeah, word.
That's actually the most interesting to me because I, as much as Mastery is cool, A, Cantor wouldn't get any advantage of it, but B, I like the dice curve at 3 dice a lot. I like the outcomes of more 4 to 5 outcomes and less 6 outcomes. Because like if we look at the deal we made with Bajo, it was so much cooler because we had to drink blood over it, and Cantor had to cap a dude over it, and that only happened because of the result of a 4, right? Like otherwise, it would have just been like, yeah, he agrees. All those cool things were results of a mixed roll.
Yeah, I love this. Like this is a mindset you see among a particular kind of role player that likes to play independently produced role playing games. They're like, I just want it to be interesting and fun, and I'm like, fuck that, we gotta win. But
no, but like
I see your point.
We're so cool because of it. It wasn't like we didn't win. We won, and we made that motherfucker drink our blood, and we capped that Spirit Warden's ass. I mean, we did cooler shit because it went a little south.
On the one hand, yes, we have blood and mayhem, which I'm all for, and on the other hand, more likelihood of winning. But I think the blood and mayhem now and the mastery later make more sense so that we can win this fight instead of being like we can get 4 dots in something, but we're all dead and poor because
I
we
am fine with that.
got into a fight we did not. It was way
We'll
over our
talk
head.
about alternate trainings for the next pickup then. But I'm okay. We should take Blood Brothers and bind our gang with blood.
With
Sweet
blood.
tattoos, man. So if we take Blood Brothers, our existing fine thugs or our exquisite thugs or whatever they are, they become multi-class thugs, something else's, right?
Yep.
What
yep.
are our options there? What can we make
My
them into?
suggestion is adepts, because we already have some people that are part of Oscar's little consulting group. But I'm okay with rooks, because that allows us to upgrade rooks with a 1 tick instead of a 2 tick.
Okay, and
Yeah.
so where's the list of all of our options for this shit?
It's under crew creation. I don't know the page is, but if you look right before the thieves section in the
Oh,
first-
okay, yeah, I'm on the breakers page, so I'm a bit ahead. Okay.
Yep.
Let's take a look. Here we go, crew creation. Yeah, adepts, so scholars, tinkers, occultists, and chemists. Friends of Oscar Skurlock.
Yeah.
Killers, assassins, and murderers. I kind of like that one. Rooks is good too. Con artists, spies, and socialites. This seems a little highbrow for us.
I think Rooks is perfect. 2 reasons. One, it's where we want to go. We're trying to carve our way into that highbrow society so we can get the big monies. And 2, we can upgrade them cheaper. So we can, if you want to play to win, we have to pay 2 crew advances to
Sure.
upgrade our thugs, but we only have to pay 1 crew advance to upgrade our rooks because we're hawkers and we get a special move to get 9 rooks
Yep.
for 1 advance. So we could next time we could get 1 advance to upgrade the rooks and thus the thugs, and because there's only 1 quality rating for the group, it's not like they have different. And then also we could take the
Pick up a
train-
secondary training or
that
get a
you-
better gear, because we can get quality weapons and stuff for them as well.
Sure. So
Yeah, and so the other options just to be like round them out. So the others are rovers, sailors, carriage drivers, and deathland scavengers. Shadows, just scouts, infiltrators, and sneak thieves, and then thugs, which we already had, toughs, brawlers, and roustabouts. Yeah, I mean, I think it makes the most sense to go with rooks, even though making them into an unstoppable army of killers would be really fun, or also making them wizard thugs would also be good. I think Strash, you and I can probably both take the backseat to the smart choice and go with rooks.
I am disappointed.
I know.
but okay.
You know what? Later. Here's what we'll do. Later, you and I can hire some assassin adepts, and everything will be
Who will
great.
also become thugs.
Yeah, sure. Right. Exactly.
exactly. Yeah, we
All
get
right,
another group.
That's it. John, we are taking over, and we're going to get another group as our next advance. That's the rules.
The
Let's do it.
Adeptus Thugmatica, and it'll be perfect.
Well, I think you've got like 2 people. You got like Cricket and like 1 other person that's following you around right now, Oscar. So we could sort of play building that out into its own group.
We have Bravos, and if we can turn them into killers easy time, especially with Cantor. So having our own little group of assassins is not a terrible idea. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Totally.
All right, Rooks and Blood Brothers. Is that the agreement?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm clearing all the XP then that I have marked.
Okay. All right. And that's all we needed to do still for our.
That's it.
Yeah. We either got 2 upgrades or a special ability. We took the special ability.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and Blood Brothers, it applies to teamwork actions, not to engagement roles, but to teamwork actions. So, RC, when you command the gang, basically, that's when it mostly will happen. They'll roll an extra die above their quality, which will usually mean that you're not taking as much stress when you command them, because they're not going to be missing their rolls. So you'll just be more effective as a commander of people who actually have their shit together.
Which must be weird for you.
But let's talk about this just briefly. We don't have to go into too much detail, but how do you feel this manifests? Like maybe this is something that's already in the fiction, and we're just putting a mechanic to it.
Well,
But-
a good question is, how are we starting this assault? Because we should do the recap, because I know how the recap ends, and there's a discussion to be had there.
Okay.
Which could segue right into Blood Brothers.
I think I see where you're going. Yeah.
Sure,
Perhaps,
sure.
perhaps literally.
Sure.
Yeah.
Probably literally.
Cool. All right.
So last session, because it ended in a cliffhanger, had me thinking lots and lots of thoughts about this game. And one of them was I realized you guys have been describing your character's appearance for the longest time. And I was like, I haven't really thought about it. So I finally figured it out, just so that we know how we know Cantor is dressed in the finest of swag, in the nicest coats with at least 3 or more colors. We know Oscar is a little Wyatt and I. I was looking at military uniforms, and if you look at like a naval coat, and you beat the hell out of it, and you take all the epaulets and you cut them off, and you take the sleeves and you cut them off, and then you reinforce them with like some metal bands that are like been sewn into the coat, and you put a halter top underneath it and trousers. That's RC.
Nice. Digging it.
Do you have like a sweet tricorn hat?
I don't think so. RC's got a lot of
Okay.
hair.
And three corners is old news. My hat has 16 corners. It's basically a sphere. Just
It's a quinceanera corner hat.
exactly.
It's
Got
like
it
a
on
20-sided die.
your-
Hardly.
There was a big party and they carried you around and it was great. Sweet, yeah. So RC, so you usually are showing off the guns, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Right. And the cuts. But yes. Yeah.
And she's tall too, right? She's,
Yeah, I mean, RC is Grace Jones with long hair.
yeah.
Like that's always how I envisioned her.
Sweet.
Man,
She's
she was awesome, and she was in Conan too, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good in that movie. She's the only good thing
So
about that
good.
movie possible.
Awesome.
Maybe Olivia Dabo, if you maybe, but yeah, she's so cool in that with her like skull cap armor thing.
Yeah, with the copper thing. Yeah, so
I
good.
gotta see that.
Super cool.
It is one of my favorite D&D movies of all time, because the first one is Sword and Sorcery. The second one is a D&D movie.
Straight up D&D. And like a normal D&D session, like not a very good one, just like
Yeah.
Just kind of middling quality. Like you don't know most of the other people in the game, just like at a game store somewhere. Yeah, I feel it.
It's almost exactly it.
It's worth watching. It's hilarious.
Nice.
So last time, I can think of one important thing, but we did downtime, and Cantor lost his vice purveyor by having thrown a fit,
Mhm.
storming out.
Which was fucking awesome.
RC slipped into the tub with her I always say ex-husband,
I know. You always think it's over.
estranged husband.
You can't divorce me because I'm never around to be divorced.
That's right. And Oscar did a minor thing. So, I mean, who even knows?
Yeah, some stuff happened. Oscar may or may
Didn't he
not
go
have
take
been
a bath?
responsible for it.
Yeah, probably
there was
just
a
hung around the house.
There was a bird, I think, that happened. I don't remember. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Why do we
There
even have it
certainly
in the
wasn't
game?
any permanent demon binding.
No,
thing.
certainly none of that.
Just typical Tuesday, very
Yeah.
low-key
Yeah.
evening at home. Yeah. But when you guys came back to the manor and talked about let's attack the Red Sash's HQ.
Yep.
Let's quit pussyfooting around and just go for it.
Yeah.
As I recall, Oscar said, that's a good idea, but maybe there's another way we could attack them
Right.
besides kicking down their front door.
Yep.
And then
And,
what happened after that, Josh?
So I believe that I was like, so we should go in through the ghost field. I'll just teleport us through, and we'll just appear in this fancy pants pool that they have by their dojo. And Archie was like, oh yes, and how will that happen? And Oscar's like, here, let me show you. And then we went into Oscar's little sanctum room, and Satara shows up and reaches for us, and I think we cut right there. Like, we just rolled credits.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then John went and watched Event Horizon 6 times in a row.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
Cool.
That happened. That Event Horizon happens.
We emerge into a dystopic space future. Cool. All right.
New game.
Aboard the
He wants to be Lance
HMS Bloodletter, returning from Mars. Okay. All right.
Yeah, you all wake up in your Matrix pods.
Fantastic.
Sweet.
Yeah. So a couple things happen. First, Oscar showed you the cool ghost door that he has. Oh, look, it's a brick wall. Oh, look, it's a room. Haha.
Yeah.
Then he showed you his lovely assistant, the shark-eyed demon.
Right. If I remember correctly, it was like, there's Satara, a moment of hesitation, and then lunge, she reaches and grabs us. Or grabs
She
us.
tries. You were thinking about resisting. I didn't want to extend the rolls by some massive amount of time, so we just called it, and we figured we'd deal with it now.
So a couple things happen at once. So you're in a room that isn't really, like, it's inside Skurlock Manor, but it's
Not.
weird that it's made of stone and not wood and paneling like the rest of the place, and it's very odd. You wouldn't normally just build a stone room on the second floor of a house. That would be strange, but that's what's there. And the identical pool made by the same mason,
Craftsmanship, yeah.
right, that matches the one in the tattoo parlor, and then the demon who has risen out of the water to sort of drag you under into the pool. So we haven't done face-to-face human stuff yet, except with Oscar, who is kind of immune to this kind of thing because he's a whisperer.
Yep.
But for regular people, see, even if you're like real hardcore, like demons have this kind of supernatural fear thing that they exude. So by default, you either freeze in place or run away. Up to you which one you want to do.
Yeah. So my thought, regardless of the sort of enforced mechanics, was that this would surprise RC. This is not what she was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And the extent of my action that I want to do, and you tell me if this is appropriate within the freeze in place selection, is to look surprised and then to narrow her eyes at Oscar when she has this realization of RC, like you said last session, Strash, RC has just been in like total denial of what we do the whole time. She's like, yeah, we sell demon blood, we inject people with demon blood, but I have nothing to do with demons, so I'm not connected at all. And she's been pretending that she has been able to ride above the surface of this, and more or less has. And this is when all that like denial comes crashing down, and she realizes, shit, I haven't been paying any attention to what Oscar's been doing, and this is what he's doing. She doesn't know you have a bond or any of that, but she knows you just call the demon, however you do that. And so all that denial just is shattered, and she's just looking looking with great scrutiny at Oscar before Satara does whatever Satara does.
Yeah. And so, Cancer, how do you react to this?
So I'm reacting to like a demon shark woman grabbing me.
Mm-hmm.
I probably am just like, whoa, I got a girlfriend. And then she grabs me. I don't That's all. That's probably the first thing Kendra thinks, like, whoa, hey, I got a girlfriend, but it's, grabbed and in.
Yeah.
You gotta let her down easy. Gotta be up straight up.
Yeah, and this is, it's one thing to highlight it here, too, because we have magic and ghosts and stuff, but this is a little bit fairy tale-ish or legendary. It's not, people don't, like, demons aren't really real. Sure, like, there's Leviathans. RC's seen glimpses of shapes rising up, blotting out the moon and stuff. But demons, it's sort of like, in our world, like, yeah, that's not real. Like, sure, there's legends and there's thousands of years ago and in books, there's stories. And
so do we have the same kind of like situation where like people who are scientists of some degree or another are like, there is no such thing as demons. They're simply enormous animals.
Exactly. There's all kinds of theories about how they were a race of sub-beings that went extinct, and they fanciful tales rose up around them or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's all these other ideas that are like in our world, like about angels or whatever. You know, people have sightings and stuff, and so yeah. But I guess the science is all about electroplasm and the way that the electrical humors of the body interact, and that kind of stuff. So this is like legit magic kind of thing, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's weird on multiple levels. There's this supernatural effect that hits you that demons have, like sort of fear field that they emit, and then the the swift motion of being hauled underwater. And at first, it's and there's 2 parts to this. You suffer stress from this typically, because it assaults you on that level.
Mm-hmm.
You suffer 6 stress by default, and you can resist that like a normal resistance roll. Or Oscar, being your teammate,
I would like to resist for them if possible.
can step in and take it for the team. And because it's his binding, he can just do it for everybody. Like he can be normally he'd just choose one of you to protect, but it's his, it's his demon. So
just I don't need to hear that laugh, John. Keep that shit to yourself. You ass.
I try to keep a straight face. I do. It's hard.
Everything's gonna be fine.
So you get 2 benefits, Raj. You can protect for them, both of them, and it's not as bad for you. So you only are risking 4 stress minus your high die on your resistance roll.
Awesome. I'll just write that. So I am using resolve because this is a willpower challenge.
Yep.
And I'm trying to essentially filter for them. So I'm just gonna straight up roll.
Cool. Hey, nice.
There you go. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Nada.
Once again, no stress for Oscar.
Well, when dealing with supernatural things.
Yeah,
Right.
you always succeed in that realm. So even though this is stressful, colloquially stressful, you guys don't suffer stress here. And it is like being hauled underwater, like dragged. The pool's like 10 inches deep, and you go down and down and down.
Yeah, deep. Yeah.
And feel it. You may have experienced this before, also, RC. The sensation of going down into deep water.
I think so. I think this is not an altogether unfamiliar experience.
Yeah, and
Not by this method necessarily.
not by this method. Yes. Oh, that's right, because we saw in your flashback like the tilting deck and the Leviathan smashing onto the.
Sure.
Thing.
RC literally washed up to shore. I mean,
That's right.
He was drowning like at the beginning of that.
So it goes on long enough where you start to feel like I'm going to die. Like I won't be able to swim back up. You get that, sense in your equilibrium, like,
Right.
whoa.
We've gone too far.
We're only going, the water's rushing past. It's pitch black.
You're gonna get the demon bends.
Nitrogen narcosis, man.
You feel something massive pass you in the water. It displaces the water, and you get sort of swung around. So you feel Satara's grip on your clothes, and you kind of like you feel this like massive presence like pass you.
Yeah.
And continue, like the Star Destroyer. It's like it's like going.
Yeah. Oh, it keeps going past us.
Yeah.
And so we're like feeling its wake, or like.
Yeah. Feeling its wake. What else? Something else interesting happens.
Because this wasn't weird enough.
You're gonna need to be more specific than that, John. You can't just GM your way through a game by being like, some interesting stuff happens. You imagine it yourselves.
And then it's a tour de force.
It's really cool, and then some scary things occur. There's some
Imagine
tension.
like the coolest role playing session.
That
Yeah?
happens. Yeah.
All right.
Let's do XP.
Good game,
Thanks,
everybody.
I'm trying to figure out how. So Oscar, this is the first time you've done this. Are you what kind of wherewithal are we talking here? Are you along for the ride? do you feel like Oscar would have some kind of control over this situation?
I think that he probably had an idea that for the demo, they would probably emerge in the from the pool in the tattoo shop.
Yeah.
Because the two are connected and it's an easy jump for her. So that's what I was expecting. But I think Oscar trusts Satara to do her part. So what happens is in this dark, he turns around with like the glowing red eye, the Leviathan eye, and is focusing on keeping his friends calm and contained. This is the narrative part of that resistance roll. Like, it's not just I rolled some dice. It's like, that's what I'm doing, is like they feel my presence in that dark, and I have like a connection with me because I am essentially at the prow of that boat being dragged, trying to cover for him.
Cool. Yeah. Nice. So in that case, there is a moment where everyone sees this thing that happens. There's a dim light that looks like it's very far away, down way deep in the void, but it's actually really close and faint, and it glows briefly, and you see it answered by a couple others, and as it glows, you see you're underwater. There's a sandy, rocky shelf that goes off deeper into a further abyss. There are chains anchored in the rock. These metal chains, this weird scintillating metal you've never seen before. And floating at the end of the chains, wrapped in these chains, are these sort of stony egg shapes that are 6 feet high and rounded, pointed on the ends. And as the lights sort of ping, you see that it's coming from inside these eggs. There's a soft sort of glow that happens and then fades, and it happens, and you see it sort of flicker out into the depths. There's a series of a dozen or more of these that briefly give light. And Satara is going past them and exuding some force or something as she goes. You feel the water like radiate away from her and jostle these things. Wrapped in ordinary iron chains around the base are a bunch of people, a bunch of humans, Duskwall citizens in different clothes that are all rotted and floating, and their bodies are decaying with all the small fish that have fed on their corpses. A lot of them have their flesh kind of hanging off with scales showing underneath. They look like the people that are sometimes tossed into a pool in your basement.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Perfect.
You look familiar.
And as the light fades, you see like this sort of black, dark blood that's like sort of coming up out of the corpses is passing through the membrane and feeding these eggs.
Awesome. So the product we've been giving Skurlock is chained down here and seeping kind of in through this membrane of eggs of something.
Yeah, and it's this moment where, like, instead of Oscar like being the veteran demon summoner and like whisking you through the portal effortlessly so you arrive on the other side, without knowing what's going on, he takes care of you instead and like focuses inward and like protects you from the weirdness that you would have suffered on the exit. But because he's doing that, like, you kind of see behind the curtain, you see what's happening. And then you're once again accelerated and you come out through the pool on the other side.
Well, thank you. That was gross.
You're welcome.
Thank you for making me think those things.
And the physical sensation, I assume, is exactly what we expect, that our characters are coughing and out of breath and that we've been through water, or was that all sort of just illusory and we come out and we're like, bling?
No, it's totally real.
Yeah, nice.
You felt like you were just about to lose it and drown. And you were down there just at the limit of what you could endure. But once again, like, Oscar like kind of protected you. So you're not like coughing up water or anything, but it is. I'm sure it's probably gasping, and also Satara's not there. Like you sort of like slide on your knees in this shallow pool in the tattoo parlor and hit the bricks on the end.
Yeah.
So you come out of a slip and slide. You like slide out of this pool.
Yeah, and Oscar, you're standing outside the pool. You're totally dry.
I was going to say, do I rise out of the water with that reverse?
Motherfucker.
The same effect.
They don't actually see what happened. You're just like standing there waiting for them, just totally dry.
Yeah.
And I actually just finished the sentence with, so something like that.
Right. So like RC like kind of sputters and tries to collect herself, and she's sopping wet and totally disoriented. But yeah, her first thought is to look back at Satara, and Satara's gone. When she goes to look at the pool, there's no.
And the pool is again only yay deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Star's not there.
All right.
And in your maybe I don't know how RC like processes these things, but like you did see her just for a second, right? Probably. You remember seeing her.
Well, I just did something that was impossible. I mean, as long as it's easy to tell that this is a different place, that this is our basement of our parlor.
It does look eerily familiar, but you recognize it immediately as the tattoo parlor. Yeah.
I mean, there's a chute for dead people to go down.
There's a staircase to lead. Yeah.
Yeah, there's different. Although it might at the first scene. So yeah, RC is certainly shaken by this, but she's trying to compose herself with the notion that perhaps there is still a foe at hand. Not that she's threatened by Oscar, but like her first thought is like, I just got my ass kicked. Let me get my sword out, and she's trying to praise if there's something to stab, and it doesn't seem that there is. So.
No, yeah, it's quiet. There's some like noise going on outside, not in the parlor, but like out on the street. You hear like hooves, like horses, not just goats, tromping around, and a voice yells, and there's like a little something happening out by the docks. But upstairs it's totally quiet, and
I'm glad you specified that it was horses, because as soon as you said hooves, I assumed, the black goat of the wood with 1,000 young, and that something had gone horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Like, thanks. Good. They're just horses, though.
It neighs.
Impressive, though, that we can tell from this distance what kind of animal those hooves belong to. But, yeah, okay.
Well,
yeah, you're so used to goat-driven stuff that it stands out as like, oh, there's like fancy stuff out there.
Yeah.
What do you do?
RC looks to Oscar to say.
Yeah, we're both looking at Oscar like, what the actual fuck, man?
Yeah.
And Oscar's like, and then we exit from the waters into their base and just assault them like that.
So we're like soaking wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check my guns. Like, are they all fucked up and unshootable at this point?
Yes.
So that's I look at Oscar and I'm like, smooth, genius. And I like pour the like a wet powder on the floor.
Yeah. RC kind of like tips her scabbard because her scabbard is a naval sword, so it's like used to getting wet. But like nevertheless, I think there's a little bit of like water that might have collected.
Your scabbard, you
right. So to drain that, right? Tips it out, and
Oscar, who never carries weapons, is like, oh, yeah, I guess that's a thing, but we can prepare for that.
And then she sort of squares her eyes and looks at Oscar and is like, did what I just did that just happen? I mean,
yeah, pretty much.
So you knew about that, and you brought that into our home.
I didn't just know about that. I was raised by that.
And RC takes a really hard look at the door. And I hate doing this. I don't want to just Karen, but RC's gonna do it anyway. God damn it! Making yourself look weak. RC's struggling with this, but she's gonna say it anyway. Last time someone I knew that I trusted found out they consorted with a demon, and I tried to do something about it, it was like taking a hammer to a tower Nothing could be done. I lost my husband, my children, my job, my freedom, and almost my life. Doesn't sit well with me. I want to take my sword and cut off that creature's head, and yet I know I can't. And you're the only one standing in front of me, and you're the one who brought it here.
Oscar looks very calm and just says, so I guess the question is, do you trust me more than the last person you found out consorted with demons?
That's when I stopped trusting him, is when I found out.
Sounds like the issue's with you, not with him.
Ooh.
I'm going to go dry off. And
Cantor's just over here with some very damp popcorn. Just like, yeah, anyway. Soggy ass popcorn.
yeah. So yeah, RC's just a little too freaked out by this to know, the whole argument was whether this is a good plan or not, and that argument is gone for her now.
So I think
can I trust you?
As RC's going towards the stairs, Oscar says, RC. And if you look back or pause for a second.
Sure, yeah. She just said I need to go dry off. She wasn't I'm out of here. I'm gonna talk to
Oscar
you.
thinks about that reaction, and then after, as you start leaving, he says, RC. And then if you look at him, he says, why exactly do you think I'm part of this gang?
That's really good question.
If I'm here to handle the things that none of you want to handle in the ways that none of you want to handle them, then I am doing my job. And the question remains, if you trusted me initially, why do you not trust me now?
Because you consort with demons?
That has always been true. I am still the same Oscar you knew yesterday. The only thing that's changed is your perception.
Yeah. I believe you.
You are just as safe today as you were yesterday.
That doesn't make me feel very good about yesterday. And she leaves, but she's clearly not I'm never talking to you again. She's clearly
No, I know. You need time to process. I'm not pushing this any further.
Right. So she's going to head out and see what all that commotion was about. Because she just needs something mundane to distract her.
Goats and...
Yeah, well, horses, right?
Horses,
that's weird. That's different. So she's... RC stopped me so racist. Sorry, Range. I got issues. It's in my past. It's a personal thing.
I understand.
Demons are people too, okay?
Deal with them.
Yeah.
So Cantor, I just realized you switched playbooks. You're a hound now, yes?
Yeah, I believe so.
I forget that sometimes. So hounds have access to a special item, electroplasmic ammunition. I think it's on your character.
I do indeed.
So you have one in your holster, like you just keep an extra one there. It came with your nice gun, and you haven't used it yet.
Yeah.
And that one's fine. That one uses a coil, a tube filled with electroplasm that fires the charge.
Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, so that one, all your normal shot is all wet, but the electroplasm charge is okay.
I can still kill people with those, right?
Yeah, you can. They're slightly less effective against people and way more effective against supernatural stuff. But it's the difference between a smaller caliber gun or something. It's still a bullet or a shell hitting the body. So you can kill someone with it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, as a hound, I also have a pet we haven't seen yet. But
yeah, that's true.
I'm waiting for Babu.
So
Get an ocelot.
Yeah, so I think I'm probably checking my stuff out, and I look over at Oscar because RC, you've already gone upstairs, right?
Yeah.
And I look at you, Oscar, and I'm like, nice trick, weird boy, but it's gonna need some refinement because I look at the guns, I'm like, kind of shrug. This is a killing game, and I need these babies to kill, so keep on working on it. Maybe if you need test subjects, pick someone who is not me, but. Get the team familiar with this. I look around. Whatever you just did, it's a little unnerving. So I'm gonna go upstairs and throw up, and I will see you outside. And I like go upstairs.
You know what you got? F plus.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So you guys, RC, when you're just a few paces ahead of Cantor, and
Yeah.
the door,
Didn't
like
even that fast.
you go to open the door, and it sort of sticks. It opens out. It actually has a lock and stuff on the other side, but you think for a second like, oh shit, they locked it, but they didn't. And so you kind of like have to push it forward a little bit, and a brick falls down onto the floor in front of you, and there's no lights on inside. Someone's boarded up the windows of the tattoo parlor. There's no business happening, and you like push the door a little bit more, and then a couple more bricks like fall down. Someone like quickly like brick
Try to mortar up the door or brick up the door but without mortaring it.
basically, yeah, just like a rush job. And outside there's like lights playing around, bright, not just torches, but like electric light beam lights passing around. And when you look through the slats, you see the portable rookery, the Spirit Warden's rookery, is on the next block, being kind of like slowly rolled down the street. It has a big electric light on both ends with guys like sweeping it back and forth, and like people are standing around and talking, and one guy's like yelling at them to like go away. And
Yeah. So I think RC like gets that point and turns around to go. I don't know who we had sirens in the back. I don't know who's doing that back, but like that's pretty much what RC takes out of this. It's like, all right, the Popo are here.
yeah,
and
you see running towards the place, like through near the narrow alley next to it, at a full run, is Cyclops, and he like comes inside real fast. You hear him like undo the padlock and come inside real fast, and then he like runs right by you, doesn't see you, in the dark room, and then pulls up short and looks at the bricks everywhere, and like he takes out his knife and starts like creeping toward the door as Cantor's coming out.
Yeah, I'm like, I think just to put him on a little bit more edge, I reach out and I grab him. I'm like, it's us, like just as he's about to stab me.
He whips his knife at you, and you like dodge it,
Yeah, exactly.
And he stops, and then he hears Cantor, and he turns, like jumps as you come into the room and kick a brick out of the way.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but we got to get out of here right now.
Yeah. Who else is out there? Has anyone been rounded up? I don't know what they're looking for, but can't be good.
No, everyone, after what that prick did, he means Rove, challenging the Red Sashes to a war.
Yeah.
He says, after what that prick did, I figured it's better for us to keep a low profile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like tilts his head towards the shitty brickwork.
Right.
I told all the guys to go home and wait for your instructions. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What were you doing? Who was chasing you?
No, nobody was chasing me. I just had to make sure that everybody got away clean. I was just coming back to make sure that this was all closed up.
All right. And Cantor, you're like hearing this, and seeing all the lights and shit outside.
Yeah, and you can hear this downstairs, Oscar. You're
John, from looking outside, does it look like we could make it out on foot, or are we gonna have to go back through that fucking demon pool to get out of here? What's the? I mean, I know.
I know what I'm voting for.
Yeah, it's certainly not my preferred method, but like, how locked down is the area right now?
If you just like leave everything the way it is and run right now, then you can get out ahead of the sweeping lights. But they're definitely coming over here. They don't really know where they're going. Clearly, they're like being slow and methodical.
Right.
If you wait another minute or two, you'll have to actually like sneak past them to get out.
All right. And if we leave right now, we're going to leave the door even less bricked up than it was before.
Yeah, it's kind of ruined. Like, I mean, it's not horrible, but it's...
Well, we could redo it, but it would take time, right? I mean...
Yeah. So Cyclops is watching you. Like, this is part of your gang upgrade, right? Like, as their quality goes up and stuff, they they're better at anticipating what you want. They don't make as bad a decision as they normally do.
Yeah.
So he's watching you think, and he's like, "I'll do it. I'll stay behind. You should get out of here."
RC calls down to Oscar. Which
Oh,
boy?
he's there. Just
Okay.
like has apparently he's been right behind you for a while.
Right. Fine. Yeah, no, I mean, I just. All right, we need to get out of here now.
He doesn't seem gleeful, but there's a little bit of like a yes. I mean, all right. I can get us out of here now. But he's looking at you like, are you sure this is what you want? Because, all right then.
Back downstairs. Was that the plan?
Oh yeah.
It's not at all what she wants. No, we have time. We have time to go on foot. We're gonna move. We're gonna move on foot. For all we know, whatever you did would be something that they could detect. Look at all that gear out there. They're kitted out to look for the supernatural. Let's just go on foot. We got time. We're going now. And so she's going to go for the door with the expectation that we're all going to move in a goddamn rush and not dick around.
Do you want Cyclops to go with you, or do you want him to finish the brick?
I want him to come with us. Fuck the brickwork. He's
Okay.
they're going to find it.
All right.
I appreciate, him wanting to cover up for it. But if he does it, he's just going to get caught. And then they're going to be like, what are you doing bricking that thing up? And then they're going to look behind it. Like,
Yeah, probably.
right?
Yeah.
How many of them are there?
There's only one. You see the one sort of copper-masked spirit warden walking along next to the armored carriage thing. And then there's 5 or 6 blue coats with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just the 4 of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's within your capabilities to pop out and murder those guys. It totally is. But there's a big crowd, and
Yeah, right. And we're about to go to war. We don't need more heat from the blue coats and spirit wardens after we just killed one of them. Like, so far, we haven't done anything to them. We just breaking laws. We start killing them, and now we have enemies.
We have done nothing to them except breaking laws. All right.
I don't understand what these cops have against me. I just keep breaking the law and shit.
That's all. I
That's
never
all.
harmed them.
It's like the only thing that they do. It's the only reason they exist. It's fine.
Look, it's different.
Look, we break laws, we
kill
break
them.
hearts, and we break arms.
That's right. Like, do we have any red sashes around here we could just throw on and be like, red sashes, motherfucker, go shoot them up? 'Cause that'd be perfect. We really need
Right.
some good
That
red
would be
sashes,
perfect.
guys.
Yeah, so I wanna get moving. Does anyone object to getting
Nah.
No.
We were mostly done with downtime. I think at this point, I have some questions for Jean about whether we can get through with dry gunpowder, and we should ninja our way out and go do the plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
So grab Cyclops, make that like token effort of like shove one brick back that's gonna be useless, and then
Yeah.
get out.
Cool. You escape.
I was hoping we would take the express out, but I guess this will do.
Even if that was a good idea, and I don't think it is, if there's a spirit warden with his mask on, isn't there a chance he would see it? I mean, couldn't you see that? Someone using a ghost? That? I don't know. I don't take the chance.
Yeah, there's a chance that could happen. Yeah.
I love how resigned John is. He's like, yeah, there's a small chance it could happen, yeah.
Yeah, there's a small chance I could ruin your whole life, but whatever. It's like a 1 in 4. It's fine.
I mean, we're on
That's sort of
the second
fun.
clock with the spirit wardens, which is halfway done at this point, and so like it's coming. It's all right there. But yeah, you're taking this opportunity not to have it happen right now while you're there. You
Yeah.
skedaddle. So yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So moving on.
Yeah. Are we able to get away?
You get away. Yeah.
Cool.
The assault on the Red Sashes. We had decided on an assault plan.
Yep.
Last time in the detail of the point of assault was kick down the front door.
Well, that was the detail that was being contested.
Oscar had a different idea for the detail, and this happened in order to proof of concept.
Yeah.
Has one wrinkle, which is that Cantor's preferred weaponry is not available.
Can I do anything about that?
Yeah. What do you want to do?
Not have Cantor's weaponry?
Well,
be
I mean,
not
Well,
available?
any of us, right? Because we're all gonna have guns. So
yeah, naval officers have to deal with like oil bag. I mean, it's just at the end of the day, we were going through water. Like we have waterproof materials, right? Oil bags and whatnot. It means the guns aren't like right at your side. You have to fish them out of the bag, but I mean, there's ways to deal with getting wet that aren't supernatural.
Yeah, that's totally right. And I think it counted as one load for an item, and you can like put your shells in a waxed and oiled bag or something, and then retrieve them once you get out on the other side. That seems totally reasonable. I don't think that's like you said, Sean. That's not a weird thing.
Are you cool with that, Cantor? You're the one that set me a mission, and I'm like, this is the best I'm coming up with. What do you think?
yeah, I mean, I say we combine it with the first shot in the chamber is one of those ones that it doesn't matter if it gets wet, and then the rest I can fish out, right? Because I don't.
And if you have a couple of spare shots, you might even be able to give the first shot to a couple of our gangers, so that everybody has that first shot ready as they're coming out.
Oh yeah, you'd have enough for a couple people. Yeah,
Sure. Yeah. So that's the plan then. That's what I would do.
okay, that sounds good.
All right.
Hand out a couple of those shots, and then we can. Because if we come out into a room full of dudes and have to start shooting.
Yeah, we don't want to be Well, some of our guys are going to be going for truncheons and swords and clubs no matter what. I mean, some of our guys are just thugs,
totally.
So we're going to have weapons besides pistols, or weapons that won't be affected by it.
I have a second question. How quiet do we want to make this assault? Like, do we want to keep the elements of surprise as long as possible? Or is this like once we're in, we just don't care?
Can you bring our entire force?
Oh, yeah.
Which is all of us.
I mean, I'm probably going to have to take stress, and there might be some X amount of people, and we definitely want the lamp blacks to attack the front door so that people are distracted. There's other stuff going on.
Not counting lamp blacks. I'm talking about our crew, our thugs, plus.
That's a good question. John, what's the sitch here? How many can I bring through?
Yeah, there's a limit.
Okay.
So with no effort, Satara can do 5 people. With effort, she can do 10, and if you want to get desperate, she can do up to 20.
How do you guys feel about this?
That
Because I like making desperate rolls.
20 is roughly. You're normally tier 2. You happen to be tier 1 now, but you got more guys with your downtime action, so you roughly have 20.
I think we're still tier 2 because we dropped to tier 1 at the end of the score. We're in the middle of the score right now. We started the score at tier 2.
When you go to war, you lost your hold went down, and that diminishes your power.
Right.
So yeah, given everything that happened last session, you have about 20-ish people to bring through.
Okay. So she could basically bring all of us, but it would be a desperate strain. Or she could bring just us, Cyclops, Nyx, and we could kick open a door to let all our dudes in, and it would be trivially easy for her. Right. And we kind of want to let all the lamp blacks in anyway. Like, even if they're at the outside as a distraction, once we're inside, we'd rather let them in so they can do more damage anyway.
Yeah, without them, you're basically having a fair fight. And if they're involved, then it's way, way better. The odds are much more in your favor.
So I think we're going in sneaky.
Perfect. So then my suggestion is that we throw a couple of money and see if we can get an asset of a couple of alchemical potions. Specifically, I'm thinking of Silence and Darkness. I forget the exact names for them, but that's the ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
That way, we come out, we drop those potions. If we have to murder dudes, we're all doing it on silent film as people are screaming, but no sound's coming out. And then we open the doors and everything, and then we can go to town.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to have a strapping up montage anyway, getting armed for bear montage for this thing anyway. So we add that in as a flashback.
Yeah. So the next 40 minutes of the episode are just us putting things into sheaths and loading stuff. And I put on my 80s, my bright red 80s bandana.
Well, there's one particular item that I did have in mind, which is because Arceus arms are bear. and we know the Red Sash's technique. She has a. I mean, there's an option for an unusual weapon, and so she has a wrist bracer, and it's got a long but fairly short blade along the edge of it, just for fucking hacking at those sashes. When I mean, you could hurt somebody with it. Like, it certainly would feel nice to have in your eye, but it's mostly meant as a defensive weapon against getting tangled up.
So we don't know that yet. That'll happen in the episode, but we see you putting it on, and everyone's like,
What the hell is that thing? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm taking an unusual weapon.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the, where's my character here? Hound. Okay, so we can take 3, 5, or 6. Like for me, 3, 5, or 6 things from the list.
Six.
But the only reason not to go full would be you don't want to be noticed being all geared up. But since we're going in killer mode, we want to take.
We will make more noise as well. So the whole being stealthy thing is trickier if we're loaded up.
Dude,
but
you know what's noisy? Fucking putting bullets in people. It's fine.
Right.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It does make you slower if you have a foot race with someone who's light, then they catch you. So.
Yeah, but we can ablate our equipment if we really need to run away. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna bring a fine pair of pistols, my electroplasmic ammunition, and then probably like 4 of the other stuff like armor. And
you can tick it off when you want to have it.
Oh yeah, that's right, because we don't have to like preset it. Right?
But it's still fun. I don't know. There's some funness to describing at least, and then
John,
you can figure out
you and your weird game where you don't have to pick your equipment.
Well, and there are exceptions, like we said. Like, you do need to say now, like, yeah, I'm loading my pistols with electroplasmic ammunition ahead of time, and I'm taking the bag with all the ammo in it. So that's 2 of your load that we know you have already.
Right.
Not that you're the only person to ever do this, Adam, but I remember when John switched the equipment types, my first response was, "Oh, sweet, he's doing it like backpacks from Dungeon World."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
So speaking of weird games where you don't have to pick your equipment.
Yeah, man, who would ever design a rule like that? That's crazy
Weird.
talk. Cool.
So, should we take our first break and then assault the base?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Is that good?
Sounds good to me. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, everyone can imagine what kind of like weird, cool equipment we have, and then we'll.
It's really cool.
It's very cool. We all look. I promise, we all look super cool and interesting, and we'll come right back with more. So, stick around.